Picture this. You step onto a plane, and instead of cramped rows and peanuts in plastic bags, you're greeted by smiling flight attendants in designer uniforms. Live piano music drifting through the cabin, and a chef preparing multi-course meals served on fine china. It may sound like a fantasy, but this was the golden age of flying. Today on the Rewind Vault, we're unlocking the cabin doors to revisit 10 air travel luxuries that defined the skies in decades past, and why flying back then felt more like an event than just a trip from point A to point B. 1. Spacious seating and room to breathe. If you've ever felt like a contortionist trying to fit into modern airplane seats, you'll be amazed by how much room passengers once had. In the 1960s and 70s, seats were wider, legroom was generous, and the seat pitch, the space between rows, was often 36 to 40 inches. Today it's closer to 28. The difference? Back then, flying was designed around passenger comfort, not maximum capacity. Travelers could stretch, relax, and enjoy the journey without feeling packed in like sardines. 2. Gourmet dining at 30,000 feet. Forget pretzels and tiny bags of peanuts. Flying once meant gourmet dining with multi-course meals. Skilled chefs prepared dishes like carved roast beef, turkey, or even lobster tails. Meals were served on fine china with real silverware and paired with champagne or wine. Olympic Airways even took things further, offering gold-plated cutlery in first class. Eating on an airplane wasn't just about staying fed, it was about feeling like royalty in the sky. 3. A fashion show in the sky. Today, passengers board in sweatpants or pajamas, but in the golden age, flying was an occasion worth dressing up for. Men wore suits and ties, women stepped out in elegant dresses, and hats were often part of the attire. Flight attendants, known then as stewardesses, wore uniforms designed by top fashion houses like Christian Dior and Chanel. Airlines even hosted fashion shows right in the aisles, turning flights into glamorous events. 4. Flying piano bars and cocktail lounges. Yes, you heard that right. Some planes in the 1970s actually had piano bars. Imagine cruising through the clouds, sipping a cocktail, and listening to live piano music. These weren't grand pianos, but electric Wurlitzer organs set up in lounge areas where passengers could socialize, sing along, and enjoy the atmosphere of a sky-high cocktail party. American Airlines even had an economy-class piano bar in their 747-100s, so music wasn't just for the elite, it was for everyone. 5. The glamour of the tarmac before jet bridges became the standard. Passengers often disembarked using mobile stairways directly onto the tarmac. It gave flying a red carpet feel, walking down the stairs with the plane towering behind you, the breeze in your hair, and sometimes photographers capturing the moment. Aircraft like the Boeing 727 and DC-9 came with built-in air stairs, making every landing feel cinematic. Of course, this convenience also played a role in history, like the daring escape of D.B. Cooper in 1971. 6. Spiral staircases and sky architecture. When the Boeing 747 debuted in 1970, it wasn't just a plane, it was an architectural marvel. The double-decker jet featured a spiral staircase leading to an upper-deck lounge. This design didn't just make flying functional, it made it artistic. Aviation influenced architecture on the ground too, like the TWA Flight Center at JFK, designed by Eero Saarinen, which still resembles a bird in flight. Planes weren't just machines, they were style statements. 7. Flight engineers, the unsung heroes. In today's modern cockpits, technology does much of the heavy lifting. But in earlier decades, planes needed flight engineers, crew members dedicated to monitoring engines and complex systems. These engineers sat at a special panel, working side by side with pilots to keep flights smooth and safe. They weren't flying the plane, but without them, it couldn't have taken off. The last U.S. airline to use them, Northwest Airlines, retired their engineer station planes in 2009. 8. Postcards from the sky. Long before smartphones and Wi-Fi, airlines offered passengers something charming: in-flight postcards. You could write a note mid-flight, maybe to say hello, from 30,000 feet, and after landing, the airline would mail it. These postcards often had unique designs and now serve as rare collectibles, capturing a time when staying connected meant pen, paper, and a postage stamp. 9. Relaxed security and quick boarding. Today, air travel means long lines, shoe removals, and liquid checks. But in the golden age, boarding a plane was almost as simple as catching a bus. Security was minimal, and companies hesitated to introduce metal detectors for fear of scaring passengers. That changed in the 1970s after a wave of hijackings, leading to the first U.S. airport installing metal detectors in 1970. While the relaxed days are long gone, many still remember the ease of stepping onto a plane without today's hassle. 10. Smoking in the skies. It may be unthinkable now, but smoking on planes was once perfectly normal. Passengers lit up in their seats, and many planes even had smoking sections. Flight attendants sometimes handed out complimentary cigarettes as part of the service. The cabin air was often hazy, and at the time, few considered the health risks. The last U.S. smoking flight took place in 2000, marking the end of this controversial chapter in aviation history. The golden age of flying wasn't just about getting from one city to another, it was about the journey itself. From spiral staircases and piano bars to gourmet meals and postcards from the sky, every detail was designed to make passengers feel special. So here's the question for you. Which of these flying luxuries would you bring back if you could? The champagne? The live piano bars? Or maybe just the chance to stretch your legs in peace? Drop your answer in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. And if you enjoyed this trip back in time, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Rewind Vault, and ring the bell icon so you never miss another nostalgic journey through history. Because here at the Rewind Vault, the past is always ready for takeoff, and there's always another memory waiting just over the horizon.